Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Hundoke. And today we have Reiko Stone, and it is Sunday, the 20th of February, or the 20th of January in the 10th year of Chongyulguk. Let's offer a bow to our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Chariot, Kyombe, Haro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English. Thank you.
가전맨세 6. 전일국 주인, 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 한일 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 존을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 6. Our family, the owner of Chongyulguk, pledges to become a family that moves heavenly fortune by embodying the heavenly parent and true parents, and to perfect a family that conveys heaven's blessing to our community by centering on true love. I'd like to ask Debbie Bruce if she could offer the opening prayer, please.
Good morning. Good morning, our dear Heavenly Parents. We gather together now to receive your word. We're so very grateful that we could be living at this time in history while True Mother is on the earth. Heavenly Parents, through this Hundoke, we receive your life, we receive your breath. Heavenly Parents, we can find hope through this wonderful time in the morning. We thank you so much, and we pray that you can really guide us throughout this week. And we really pray for our brothers and sisters also who are not so involved in our movement to become more involved in our movement. Heavenly Parents, thank you so much for today's testimony, and we really offer this time to you in the name of Chris and Debbie Bruce of the Central Blessed Family. Aju.
Aju. Aju. Thank you. And let's give a warm welcome to Reiko as she shares with us. Thank you.
Morning, Reverend Yutaka and everybody. My testimony this morning. So I just want to share the overview of my life before coming to Australia. So this is not, my internal journey until meet with God and experience with God. So I was born 1955, Iwakuni City, Yamaguchi Prefecture. And my parents' house was middle of a mountain. It's a countryside, life is countryside. We know everybody in the village. It's a village. And we all play together, all ages. We go together mountain, making a tree house. It was, beautiful place and a nice childhood. In 1975, I joined the church and I joined the club. So that was during my uni. I went to Hiroshima University and studied at the pharmacology at the time. And what we did was VOC activity. So that time, communist movement was very strong, and Japan was in danger of being communized. And especially Hiroshima University, there is the Communist Party and their branch, youth group, like a very strong at the educational faculty department. And also there is extremist groups, Chukaku and Kakumaru. There is a branch at the Hiroshima University. So kind of, yeah, it's very dangerous situation. And so what we all did was VOC activities. And 1979, I graduated uni and I moved to Sekai Nippo. And because maybe I'm not sure like how many thousand graduate from uni. And some of them, like 20 of them, are appointed to move to Sekai Nippo. So we're supposed to become a correspondent. So I was chosen to, become correspondent around the medical area. But what we did was fundraising to support Sekai Nippo. And end of 1980, there was a matching. And I didn't go. Greg was in, I think, America. But I was matched by a photo. So after that, I moved to Mr. Ishii's house. He was the president of Sekai Nippo, and I took care of his son, Masataka. And 1982, there was a 6,000 couples blessing. So after the blessing, I joined to 120 days workshop. 1,800 couples missionary came back to Japan, and there was a 120-day workshop. So all international matched couple, we all joined 120-day workshop with them. And we moved to the World Mission Department. And after that, we fundraised to support missionary work. And 1985, I went to America as part of mobilization to witness Christian ministers. And we went to Boston with my spiritual daughter. And 1986, I came to Australia with Tsuneko-san and Kazuko-san, together. So that's my overview of my life before coming to Australia. So I just want to share today, focused on two parts of my life, how I joined the church and met the God, and the experience with God and spiritual world during World Mission Department. I could never forget. Yeah. So my childhood, so I was born 1955 in Iwakuni, Yamaguchi Prefecture. And my family's belief was Buddhism. But my family are not religious, but more conscientious, but respect ancestors. And I myself had a feeling towards religion that some weak people rely on it. And my father changed his surname to keep my mother's side lineage. So my mother's side lineage doesn't last for 3 generations. So they are adopting children, and my father changed his surname, to keep my mother's side lineage. And so 3 generations lived together in the same house. And my grandfather was the center of my family until he died. And my father was a public servant. We had a small farm growing rice and vegetables. And I have 2 elder brothers. And my dream was to have my own laboratory. I wanted to do experiment. That was my dream. So when I started high school, my math teacher told us to review what we learned every day. So I was reviewing math and English every day. And after a while, my academic result became average to top of the school. And I enjoyed studying. And I became also same time very arrogant. And I had a confidence in myself, thinking I could achieve anything by my own effort. We, what we want to do, we set the goal, we make effort until we reach it. So kind of confidence that I can achieve anything. But one day, the same math teacher surprised me by asking me, are you still reviewing your math and English every day? And that word shocked me because I felt she doesn't mean what she had said. And I stopped studying that day. That shocked, her words shocked me. But my academic result was still just as good as it was before. So I felt, what's the point making an effort? So, and also same time, I started to feel emptiness in my life. And I felt the more I was externally successful, the more I felt internally empty. And at some stage, I stopped going to school for some reason. And I struggled every day. And my mind told me I should go to school, but I couldn't go to school. And my mind and body disunity lasted for a while. And I couldn't trust myself. And I felt I have no values. But my father, in those situations, trusted in me and believed in me. That gave me encouragement, and I determined to try again. So, and I graduated high school and entered university, but still I struggled a lot with my life. I was questioning about what determined the value of people and what determined my value. What was the purpose of my life? And I started to have a strong and urgent feeling that there was something important, but I need to know in my life, but I don't know what it was. And I felt academic result, like academic knowledge is good, but if I have some knowledge about certain area that more than other people, but what's the value of it? And I felt my life was not developing. And yeah, I had the urgent feelings. I need to know more important things. And I reflect back that time, I really regret that if that time that I was taught living for sake of others, to use that knowledge for the serving other people, I didn't need to go through so much struggles. So look at my situation, one of our uni lecturers suggested, I better go to Buddhist workshop. So I went to Buddhist workshop and meditate for 1 week, reflecting my life. And the way they taught us was go back and remember each year and reflect on who did something for you and what you did for them. So end of the day, monk came and we need to report what we didn't find. So through that process, I had a realization of how much my parents loved me and invested in me. But I did very little to help anybody. And I thought I was arrogant. I thought I lived my life independently by myself. But actually, I was supported by many people, especially by my parents. That was my realization, and I respect more my parents that time. And soon after the workshop, I met my spiritual mother. She said 3 things. Do you respect your parents? Do you feel contradiction within yourself? And God exists. So that's what she said. And I wanted to know why she could say God exists so confidently. Because we cannot see God, how she can say confidently God exists. So I was curious, I want to know why she says that. So I went to the seminar, attended 2 days workshop and 5-day workshop. And I was so moved by depths of divine principle and its explanation about life. And the DP logically, consistently explain how all of history is to realize God's lost proposition foundation and to establish 3 great blessings. That's all come back to that point. And so finally, I realized that God really exists. And whatever found this divine principle must be the Messiah. That's my realization after attending workshop. So I joined the club. The reason was I wanted to become close to the truth. So if I go back to uni life and I just forget. So I wanted to close to truth. So I joined the club. To look back, I never thought about God before. I never think about God. And my thinking was so far away from God's idea. But I felt I was pushed by spiritual world to come to God and true parents. So if so those hardships, struggles, went to Buddhist workshop, all like guiding tours to hear the divine principle, to prepare my mindset to listen to divine principle. So I feel strongly guided by God and the spiritual world. So after finding that God exists, my life changed 100 degrees from that moment. And so while studying at the university, I start to struggle new 3 areas. So one is I began to worry that church was using my position at the university as they trying to form a club. So whenever I go to club, they are my leader talking about forming the club, because my university communist influence was strong. So education department, there is all very strong established communist youth group. Minse was very strong. And also there is 2 extremist groups in the campus as well. So they trying to form a club against those communist, group. So whenever I go to a CAP center, they are talking that maybe we can form a club like a medicine areas. So I felt, yeah, are they using me? That start to a little bit struggle about it. The another struggle was after hearing the divine principle, the like a pharmacology was an external study. So like we had, optimism that kingdom of heaven will realize very soon, like 7 years, the ideal world will realize, that kind of feeling. So why I have to study, the pharmacology, it's an external study, the kingdom of heaven, we don't need medicines. There is no sickness and those feelings. So, so of course we did the VOC dinner at the campus, and one of our mission was to graduate uni. So that was my big struggles that to keep studying. And another struggle was my spiritual sense was open a little bit, and I don't know how to deal with it. So I started to feel the spirit. Cannot see, but I can feel it. And I can feel the energy coming from the spirit, especially nighttime. I can see some spirit is like sitting in the corner of my room, and I can feel energy coming from the spirit. So, and sometimes trying to come into my body. So I was not sure what to do. So I was every night, I cannot sleep. And, but I was reading Bible. I was reading divine principle, like a resurrection of the spirit, how they can be resurrected the way, or, using the Holy Soul, yeah, to throw the Holy Soul to the spirit. Anyway, and so I couldn't talk those things to anybody. So that, and then, so I was so exhausted to struggle with those things. And so one night I was so exhausted and went out from the garden, my house, and sat there. And then I realized that the star came down close to me. And I doubted what I was seeing and looked at again, but still the star became bigger. And I felt the star came close to me. And there was a voice coming from behind the star saying that, why are you struggling? And I know everything that you are going through. That, yeah. So it was like a warm embrace that I felt. And I felt somebody understands me, that feeling, and all my struggles and burdens were gone from that moment. So that was our first meeting with my, with God. And another, yeah, so another time is a World Mission Department experience at the World Mission Department. So 1983, after the blessing, I moved to World Mission Department and started fundraising. So we learned how to read palms and started to sell stamps, marble-based and marble towers. So that time we could witness to people through fundraising. So leader set up a system to bring fundraising guests to the video center so they could listen to divine principle. True Father said you need to, that time, True Father said you need to witness successfully to 3 core people to support Japan. I thought I wanted to witness those 3 core people. And I had a small suburb in Tokyo as my fundraising area. So everybody got the area, like a home church. So I visit that area, small area, as my fundraising area many times. So I made a holy ground at the playground, and every day I pray to meet 3 core members before I start visiting people. And at the end of that year, we heard that the Hunjinim had a car accident. And the next year, 1984, he passed away. That was so shock to me. And I felt we are not enough. So that's why the true children has to be sacrificed. So we are so serious to do our missions more. And after a few days, Hunjinin passed away. True Father asked us to always think about Hunjinin. So while I was visiting house to house, I always thought about Hunjinin. And after a while, I started to feel Hunjinin's spirit was with me while visiting people. And one day, my spiritual senses opened again. And this time I felt so close to God and so happy. Felt like I was walking on the clouds, like a spirit body is like a floating, like, yeah, happy. And reality, though, I walked Tokyo in winter, it's very cold. And snow and snow melt, cold, wet roads. I walked all day to visit people, and I felt externally people might think I'm miserable, but internally I was so happy. Yeah, and every morning my leader, gave us talk for the day, and And one day I started to feel that God was the one talking through him. Or I also started to have premonitions. When I woke up, I knew what would happen that day. So like, for example, we are doing the fundraising and selling the stamps. So because that's expensive, like one is like a few $100, expensive one is a few thousand. So not every day we meet those people, but when we wake up, I know what will happen. I'll meet one person today. I'm confident. I don't know who, but just needs to go through it, who it is, those feelings. And also same time, many spiritual phenomena happened. So one met one lady, her mother just passed away. And while I was talking, she listened everything what I said. And also the words came out almost automatically. I was also surprised what I was talking. And the lady was a businesswoman, and she had a very busy schedule, but she's always available on the day of our seminars. And some, yeah, it was, I felt always Hunjinim is there supporting her. Like his Pentecost day, there was a seminar selling, those invite guests and selling the towers and those things. And she's always available those days. So she bought stamps and later attended a seminar and bought marble base, few towers, and she attended video center and became a member. And we went together to America to visit Christian ministers. And I felt during that time, I felt always Hunjinin was there and guiding her. And she donated $100 million for the Providence. And another time, I met one sister who was indecisive, yeah. And her younger sister came from Kyoto during her uni, and she joined the church before her sister. And after two sisters joined, their parents also joined too. Yeah, those like a kind of spiritual world is pushing. And I met another sister who was, I'm not so interested in her because she has no need, but to hear, principle or anything. But I felt that God was concerned about her. So because God concerned about her, I visited her a few times. And later, she joined the church as well. So I felt many spiritual phenomena happened during that time. And so after a while, I had to go to America for mobilization to visit Christian ministers. So to prepare to come to Australia to start family life. So I stopped the fundraising. And so I feel, yeah, we can feel God, in a very different ways, most of the time, everyday life, in a subtle ways. Yeah, because God is, with us. But that time was I feel very close to God and a very happy time in my life. I can never forget. So through realization, through that experience, when true parents say something, spiritual world is ready to support that. So if we unite straight away and do it, it will be realized. I also reflect whether the spiritual children I witnessed were really core members, because I determined I wanted 3 core members to support Japan's mission. So I was reflect back, and at least one of them was core member. She donated the amount of the donation she did, 120 million, and also I heard from Mr. Inokuchi that she also supported the fish farming project in Spain later. And my spiritual daughter herself said she told her Tokyo house to donate money to support Washington Times when it had a financial difficulty. So her Tokyo house, I don't know how many million, But anyway, external sense, I think she was, supported Japan's missions. And also Johnson and unity among members is important. So at that time, everybody is so serious making a conditions. So result comes through all our members' effort together, not one individual effort alone. And I felt also God wants to give me more than we want. So I wanted to witness 3 people, but God gave me 6 people. And also our attitude has to be always centered on God. This is through my experience. So when I repent something, next day, somebody bought a stamp. And that happens a few times. So I felt whenever I repent, God wants to give me a blessing. But the other hand, when somebody bought a stamp, and I was so happy, and forgetting about God, just happy myself. And the next day it was canceled. So it was painful experience, but I learned we need to, it's not my achievement, it's God's achievement through me. So I need to give honor to God if there is any result, and instead of being proud of myself. So that's the realization during that period. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening.
Well, thank you, Reiko, for sharing. Really, you have a very faithful life with Heavenly Parents, and your journey. And I think that growing up in the mountains, enjoying nature and really having a comfortable life, really developed your personality and character. I was reflecting on a few of the things you mentioned, how like one of the things you're saying when you're in camp, that are they using me or not? And I think a number of us probably feel that from time to time, especially when we're fundraising for many years. And I realized for myself when I had those feelings, am I being, are they using me? I realized that actually I want to be used. I want to be useful, but I want to be able to choose that, not sometimes feel like it's decided for me. But I think being useful is certainly a lot better than not doing anything at all. Because I notice when don't do anything, then your thoughts just start to become more negative. You had many spiritual experiences, and quite amazing that spiritual daughter of yours donating so much money. That's I often used to think about that when I was fundraising, that someone would give a big donation or something like that. But I got some big donations, but nothing like that. But yes, and that other experience where you thought you're proud of yourself, I did something, and then and then you were taught the lesson, well, it's actually the results belong to God every time. Yeah, we belong to God because we are God's result. But the thing that I also caught and feel is always true is that Chongsong and unity results come through all our members together. That when we do it together, really the results are so much better, and so God is so much happier that when we do things together. We make conditions, we go out, and we see the result, and we can see the kingdom being built. I remember many times having that experience, that when we really do it together and we're focused on giving something to God and to others, then it really does happen. And whenever we think differently, then it never comes together. But when we forget about it and we connect and we make the condition and we think of others, then every time our success comes. And I feel that was the main reason for the success at the rally that we had. Just so many people making conditions all around the world, for Mother, for our heavenly parents, and that miracle happened. We had so many prominent people from around the world, just come and support Mother, and I really felt Mother, standing in the position of the King of Kings, and God, could really claim the world. So thank you, Reiko. Thank you for sharing, and I'll open it up to others who'd like to make a comment. Yes, Doug, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Thank you, Reiko. That was an absolutely beautiful testimony. When you were talking about the donation going to Spain on the fish farm, I was totally amazed because in Spain there's a 17,000 hectare farm, which I've identified as the most ideal fish farming enterprise on earth. It's like heaven just landed, and it's called Veta La Palma. It started around the time that you were talking about receiving this money. Would you know if Veta La Palma is actually the fish farm that money was used to invest in? It's an all-natural, perfectly symbiotic example and engineered fish farm, only one on the planet. Is it the same?
I'm not sure. Yeah. These things is just heard from Japanese leader. So I don't know, but I heard that the Spain fish farming, I don't know if it's successful or not. So might be different one, or I'm not really sure myself. Yeah.
It's the only one on the planet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You, Doug. Thank you. Yes, Roa, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I just want to say thank you to Auntie Reiko. Thank you very much for sharing your life. There's so many things to learn, especially your realization. And I always realize that all of us, brothers and sisters, blessed families, we are all precious, like this, precious to God and to parents in each and every way, in our own different ways. And thus we all deserve respect. We might be somebody looking simple, but we never know how much that person really, how much God worked into that person's life to bring that person back to Heavenly Parent, and we don't know. So yeah, everybody's precious and we must respect each other. And then yeah, like also related to like respect the parent. When I was young, I was just full of complaints. I was so disrespectful to my parents, and after knowing the truth, I was so regret like what kind of daughter I was. Like I was just full of complaint and going out doing fundraising. I always miss my mom and dad. I miss home like this. And then I just think about whenever we do mission, that's how true parents, heavenly parents teach us like our families are precious, and so I always miss home. I just want to go back home. Then I love my parents more. And then I just realized then heavenly parent and true parents are my ultimate parents like this. And then yeah, thank you for that sharing, Auntie. And yeah, one point really we need to respect our parents. The fact that we are brought into this world by our parents already a big sacrifice. Like I was talking to my mom last night, she said, as you grow up like that, even when you're a teenager, parents already experience so many things. And so, yeah. And I think also during the sharing, I'm still young. My spirituality and then how to say intellectuality will still grow up more. I'm still like I'm in a growing. I felt I'm not a spiritual person, but I believe when people share about spirituality because I think God touched me more on like how to say, because people can be intellect, emotion, and will. I feel like I was touched emotionally by the divine principle. So some people were really intellectual or spiritually very. I wanted to have the same experience with God like this, and I felt God the closest when I'm in difficulties, when crying, and then I felt like God is comforting me, something like that. So also I have that kind of view. Like I hope one day not to witness somebody who will give donation to God. Hopefully, but I hope I can witness somebody. I always think in my mind that we will help heavenly parents and true parents more than I can do, because I can just do like this level. Somebody who can do better than me, a spiritual child that I can be proud of. So I have spiritual children, but they're not that they just, but bringing them into this world also is another story. I mean, bringing them into the moment is another story. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama. Thank you. Yes, Sumika, go ahead.
I have experience together work World Mission Center Reiko at the time, and she comes so late, and then she going to prayer room, and that's funny story. But she slept in that prayer room. That much condition she made it, and cold water condition or kind of condition person. We talk about the group, and so much. Yeah, that time Yamaguchi-san was the spiritual daughter come out. It's my same name, maybe Yamaguchi lady. That's it. My maiden name Yamaguchi. Anyway, might be some way connecting anyway. So at the time, we saw Reiko-san as like a prayer person or a condition person or anyway, so much how they say obedience to leaders, I mean, said to that way. At that time, very, very serious anyway in the World Mission Center. I just came back from USA to join anyway. I didn't know what to do at that time, but anyway, so serious, that World Mission Center at that time. And yes, that's why spiritual world is so tense to Providence to donate a big, huge amount of money, or yeah, that's really she put into all this energy and spirit, and the whole group also pray for intensely to each tahoto. It's that person come out, and we all pray for everybody. That is really good unity of Kunjinim and the heavenly parent and the heavenly like yeah, everything. Thank you very much. Anyway, testimony nice, very very beautiful.
Thank you, Reiko. Thank you. Go ahead, Trent. You have your hand up, and then
Yeah.
Reverend
Just
Ito.
want to say thank you to Reiko-san and their couple. I think yes, without her and her mother's heart guiding all the Japanese missionaries and the sisters coming here to witness, I don't think I'd probably maybe would still be here as hard as it was to kind of to raise me or to kind of look after me when I first kind of stepped into the church center. But yeah, she's always had the mother's heart and always behind the scenes, and as difficult as I was, doing my own thing and trying to understand everything. But yeah, she always was there, or I guess you can really see all the conditions that she's made. Yeah, and she hasn't. Yeah, it's always been there behind everyone, and always really strong for the missionaries, for the sisters, and yeah, just being there to guide everyone. So I really like to say thank you to her. I know I don't really speak much to her or have said thank you to her, but yeah, I think without her and without seeing her all the time, then I probably wouldn't still be here. Thank you, Reiko-san.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Reverend Ito.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mrs. Stone's amazing testimony. I think God trained her, or other Japanese also sisters, the Tsuneko-san like this, before come to Australia, well trained to pouring for the providence in the Oceania in Australia. And when she was in, I think, Cup, I was also in 1800 couple, but in Tokyo, the middle of the really struggling with communist, Kakumaru and Minsei, etc. And I was Waseda, so very center of the left wing side, like a headquarter. Yeah, so I remember that moment. And also the I think 120-day workshop for missionary 82 what she attended. I didn't know, I was there, and all 1800 missionary was there in the 120-day workshop by the guidance of Reverend Sudo. Sudo was a center, and the Reverend Kwak is supervised, and Mr. Kunitoki was director of World Mission Department in Japan. Yeah, I really clearly remember at the time, many who matched with international blessing couple. Yeah, they trained, and I was African side, African side, the Japanese sister who matched with Africa, after I saw their life in Africa, we joined together with her husband, so much difficulties, but they well trained before they joined. So, and contribute God's providence in Africa and all different parts of the world. I think Mrs. Stone's also testimony also, like really we thank you so much, God training and investment and sacrifice, and just make fruitful for Australia and her husband, like a key figure, part, wife of key figure of Oceania, Australia. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Reiko. Thank you, everyone. It's that time again for us to offer our unison prayer. So I'll just bring up the screen and let's pray together. Adieu, adieu, adieu. Thank you, everyone. And have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Reiko, again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the
God, you Greg. You got the right one.
Very much like Greg. God knows best.
Bye-bye.
Blessed day.